This was a very deep and emotional episode of Hunter x Hunter. First of all, I want to commend the excellent voice acting, excellent animation, and the outstanding character development of this episode. Meruem, the king's transition from chimera ant to human, I absolutely loved it. Where do I even begin with Welfin? Welfin was under so much stress that he aged like 100 years. Can you imagine being so scared and so nervous about dying that you physically and literally instantly age? Wow, I was shocked, and I also laughed a lot. We learned that the poor man's rose, aka the rose bomb, contains poison, and as we all know, the king, Poof, and Youpi were all in the area when the bomb went off, so all of them are dying from poison. Excellent episode. Let's get into the review. The beginning scene was really deep. We saw this colony of ants swarming over this dead beetle, and I'm assuming they were trying to collect it as food for the queen. All of a sudden, some random guy just comes along and just stomps out the whole entire situation. Then we transition onto a scene with bombs being dropped. We see survivors of a war-torn area, piles of human skulls, humans killing other humans, pollution, amputated victims of war, police brutality, homeless people, rich people. All of these scenes are showing how humans just mindlessly kill each other and cause destruction to the environment. Humans have caused more destruction, caused more death, and have more potential for evil than chimera ants ever will. And that is exactly why we are worse than the chimera ants. So as we transition on to another scene, we see the poor man's rose, aka the rose bomb, exploding in a well-populated city. We learn that once the bomb explodes, it releases a highly toxic chemical into the environment, which affects the entire ecosystem. So even if you survive the bomb, poison will kill you. Not only that, but anyone infected with the poison will continue to emit new poison until they die. The rose is basically like a nuclear bomb, except instead of radiation spewing out into the environment, you have this deadly toxic poison. I think that the bomb is ridiculously overpowered, and I feel like it makes Nin useless. What's the point of training myself for all of these years, increasing my Nin abilities, when all I have to do is get a poor man's rose, get this bomb, target it at my enemies? And even if you're not in the area, just a gust of wind from the bomb, all that has to do is touch you, and you're infected with the poison, and you're gonna die. So anyway, we pick this episode up outside the palace with the king and Poof. Poof is coughing up blood like crazy. He's scared, but at the same time, he's trying to hide the fact that he's dying from the king. Remember that Poof, Youpi, and the king were all around the area where the bomb went off, so they were all infected by the poison. Poof is slowly dying, Meruem is slowly dying, and Youpi has already died. So the king is just looking at Poof like, we're connected. I feel everything you feel, but you're still trying to hide stuff from me? So the king is like, after I capture these remaining intruders, you're going to tell me about your secret, right? Poof agrees. So the king releases his N, he's searching the area, he sees a truck, he sees footprints, and then he sees Welfin. So he just like instantly teleports over there, and Welfin is just like, oh shit, I'm about to die. Welfin is just, he looks like he's about to piss himself. That's how scared he is. So the king is like, you're the one who killed Youpi. And Welfin's like, no, I have nothing to do with that. You know, he just started coughing up blood. He was sick. I don't know what happened. And he's telling the truth because, as we know, Youpi died from the bomb going off, the poison. Then we find out that Welfin actually did attack Youpi, but his attack had nothing to do with Youpi's death. So Welfin gives the king some BS story about him thinking that Youpi encountered some intruders or someone else that did some sort of attack on him that later on killed him. So Welfin was like, I just went out to search the crowd of people, you know, to hypnotize humans to see if there were any intruders in the area that may have killed Youpi, may have been responsible for Youpi's death. So Poof shows up, and Welfin is just like, oh shit, he can read minds, can't he? He's gonna know that I'm lying. He's gonna know that, one, I attacked Youpi, and two, even though I'm a chimera ant, I'm not on the king's side. I actually want to kill you guys. Like, if I had the chance, I would kill you guys. Poof is thinking, I don't know what Welfin might tell the king. He might tell the king about Komugi, so it's probably best that I eliminate him as soon as possible. So before Poof can tell the king anything, the king is like, I already know what you're going to say. I can sense the emotions of anyone that has touched my inn. I know that Welfin holds hostility towards me. So when Poof realizes that the king is using his ability, and not only that, but he has increased it and just used it far better than he could ever, Poof goes into like this orgasm-y, emotional, my vagina is wet sort of state. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Poof's nose starts to bleed, and that was pretty much an indicator that he's on his way out the door. He's gonna die pretty soon. So the king can sense that Welfin is scared. He can also sense that there's a lot of hatred coming from Welfin. And he can also sense that Welfin has a strong desire to kill him. So the king is curious. He asks Welfin, why do you have so much hatred towards me? Poof is scared that Welfin might reveal some information about Komugi. So he tells the king to follow proper order. So the king turns around like, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Who are you to give me orders? Poof explains to the king that Welfin might know his secret. He realizes that lying to the king is pointless because the king can just use his abilities to basically read your mind. So he tells the king the truth. Don't question Welfin if you want to win the contest and get your reward. So Welfin is just listening to all of this, and he's just like, what do I do? How do I get away from these people? I should have ran away when I got the chance. Seeing Yubi died made me cocky. On top of all of that, remembering Gyro made me want to be a hero and seek revenge. I wanted to avenge Gyro's death. He blames Akalgo for throwing his emotions off, throwing his game plan off. Welfin goes into this whole super deep thinking, just trying to figure out what to do. So all of a sudden, the king just powers up. He asks Poof if Welfin's hatred has anything to do with the secret. He's pissed off that Poof interrupted him and gave him a direct order. So the king is about to kill Poof, but he senses how strong Poof's resolve is to hold on to his secret, so he just lets it go for whatever reason. He lets him live. Now, this is my favorite part of the episode. So the king turns around and he looks at Welfin and he's like, I'm hungry. So Welfin realizes that he's about to be a number 2 on the Burger King menu. He's about to be eaten by the king. So he has like this complete nervous breakdown. I mean, all of his hair falls out. He literally gets older. He ages. He's so nervous that he ages. I think the narrator said almost like 100 years. Can you imagine being so scared that you instantly age? So Welfin begins to think. I mean, really think. He's thinking harder than he ever has in his entire life. He's using his brain cells to their maximum capacity, their maximum efficiency. He's just thinking hard, trying to come up with anything that can save his ass from being eaten. So Welfin's analyzing Poof's secret, a Calgon palm, him being a messenger, and what Poof discussed with Pito. Then all of a sudden, Welfin just says Komugi, and all of the king's memories of Komugi just comes rushing back in, and he transitions into a whole nother personality. Like, he becomes more human at this point. Poof is like, no! I mean, you can totally tell that Poof is just jealous of Komugi. And honestly, I think that he wants to be Komugi. So the king tells Poof to continue to search for Pito, but not to kill any of the intruders, just to obtain information. And bam! At this point, you can tell that the king has just become a completely different person. Normally, he probably would have just said, and kill the intruders or do whatever you want, but he says, don't kill them. The memories of Komugi made the king become more human. He's no longer a chimera ant. His time spent with Komugi playing that game, his bonding with Komugi, pushed him to become more human. The king then analyzes the entire situation. He's able to determine that Welfin was a messenger and that Palm and Akalgo are hiding Komugi in the underground warehouse. His deductive reasoning skills are ridiculous. The king's deductive reasoning skills are just ridiculous. His critical thinking skills are amazing. So Welfin tells the king where Palm and Akalgo are hiding Komugi. He tells the king that they're hiding her in the underground warehouse. The king then says, you're free to go. Thank you. Again, that shows that the king has made a transition more towards humanity. He's become more positive. It's like he's a human being now. He has emotions and feelings. He's not just some evil chimera ant anymore. Then all of a sudden, Welfin screams out that Gyro is the only man that he will ever call king and that the chimera ants are his enemies. At this point, the king doesn't even really care anymore. All he wants to do is find Komugi. So he's like, well, I hope you find Gyro and I hope you can live the rest of your life as a human. Basically, good luck. Poof is like, no! My king has changed! No! And that pretty much ends the episode. I really enjoyed this episode. The king made a hell of a transition. He really showed a lot of character development. But now we can see that his relationship and his experiences with Komugi has pushed him more towards humanity. Let me know what you guys think. Do you feel like the poor man's rose is too powerful? Do you feel like it makes Nen pretty much pointless? How do you feel about the king? Do you hate the king, or do you like him now that he's been pushed more towards, I guess you could say, humanity? He's gained a personality and he's become more positive because of his relationship with Komugi. How do you feel about the king? Leave a comment below. Subscribe to my channel. Like this video. And that's it. See you next time.